the lineup, because I know Arsenal fans didn't like the lineup overall. Like you all complained about the lineup.
It's just what was available at the moment. And unfortunately for us, the game didn't go now. I think it's just how the sport is. You can't win every game.
Yeah, I'm not carried away by the results. I'm not carried away by the results. But there is a little bit of satisfaction in terms of having the style of the game. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. So my team lost today, so yeah, I'm not really feeling it right now. That's just weird. And I'm here with a Liverpool fan who definitely is happy.
Top of the league. It's not
I'm also
easy.
here. I'm also here with an Arsenal fan who knows the feeling. Who knows how I'm feeling? Probably a little worse because at least we went to Anfield and we lost, not Bournemouth away. So a loss is a loss. So I don't feel good still, but yeah, Tosin, how you feel? Let's start with you. You're the only winner on the pod this weekend.
Honestly, I think you guys know how much like football affects my life. So the win today, just set me off for like a good day. Essentially, I actually watched the game from like my house today, but I'm literally just in bed, just like yelling at every single tackle. Like literally in my mind, I'm like, I can't imagine if I was a fan and I was in the stadium because it was just insane. Like every moment of that game, there was just a lot of tension. But overall, I'm feeling good, happy about the win. Andrew, what about you? Like, how are you feeling about, first of all, Arsenal and then just generally?
For me, it was, as you said, if my team wins or loses, it affects my week. Initially, I wasn't really paying attention to the Arsenal game, but I think Kaede called me earlier before the game started and he was asking me how I feel about the game. Oh, no, not Kaede. Kaede didn't call me. It was during our meeting, our weekly meeting for the pod. And then I was just like, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't know why I said that, honestly. But, during, how APL is, when players go for international break and come back, things happen. So that was my initial fear. Like, a lot of things have happened during the international break. We lost key players. Things like that is already like on my mind. Like, okay, hopefully we can like edge it out. We don't really have a good record with Bournemouth. I don't know what it is, but we are always struggling there. We win, but it's always like a struggle win. Just generally, even when we're on our top form, we just like last minute goal, something dramatic always happens when we go to Bournemouth's house. So I wasn't really going into the game thinking, we are going to chop this easily. I was thinking it was going to be a battle. And then when Saliba just got the red card, I was just like, I think it's over. I don't see, because like when you're watching the game, you see like, okay, I feel like, oh, Trossard might do it, or someone might do it. I didn't see anyone about to do anything. Saliba got a red card because of Trossard, his weird pass. So his head wasn't even in the game. Trossard is not good when it starts. We all know all these random things. Raheem Sterling was arguably our best player, which should explain to you how terrible Arsenal was playing that yesterday.
Right, I love that people are experiencing Sterling, man, because they said Chelsea fans were crazy and we just
he was doing well for us yesterday, and it does well. That shows you how bad Arsenal was playing as a team for Raheem Sterling to be the one like carrying the team in such a sense. So it was just there, and Bournemouth's attack was getting overloading. Like it was getting to a point where I was like, they're about to score. Like it's coming. We kept defending, but eventually the first one entered and second one entered, and
the only thing I'll say about that Arsenal game is Arteta, man, like starting four. I know they're not CBs, they're not all CBs. They can play the left, they can play the right, but like starting like four potential CBs and three defensive-minded midfielders. I'm just not sure what the expectation is when you set up your team.
I think people forget, or people, I don't know. Okay, I think he played that game based on availability. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just who was available. It's obvious, right? Because when we needed a goal, guess who we brought in?
You have this this one Eric guy, what was his name? Like I
Wait,
understand
are
you
you
would say
no
he's
exactly no?
too young and everything and all that, but like, would you really rather three defensive-minded midfielders? Like, I feel like you can take a gamble on the furthest player up, if that makes any sense. Like in your midfield.
No,
Yeah,
I
Andrew.
agree with you, but I feel like obviously we're not going to. If anyone saw the starting lineup and saw Waneri starting, people would have been like, "What the fuck is that?" Like,
Not
if we
really
lost because
though,
of that, they would have
because they already
blamed him.
have. But I don't
Is
think you can lose because
he's
of that though. You
no? I'm
have too
just
many
saying.
injuries.
I'm just saying. Like, we have injuries. He's always been coming in as a sub already. It's not like this is the first time he's coming off as a sub. So I don't feel like that is a tactical like mismatch. That's obvious thing that anyone would do. You just bring him in on at the end to play the last 20 minutes, inject the pace, bring some attacking influence. You know, he's still 17. This is his first season in Arsenal or his first full season in Premier League, if you can call it that way. I feel like he shouldn't have started Trossard and just started Martinelli initially and let him do his rubbish. And then Trossard comes in at the end, like our typical format, right? And then it just a lot of things just went wrong in that game, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but Andrew, like I believe, like on the pod, like recently, you were fine with Waneri starting against Tottenham, right?
I
You did,
never
you did, yeah, you
I
did
never
say
spoke
like
about me being fine about Waneri starting against Tottenham.
I think we discussed like a chance for him to start in a game like that, and then you said like why wouldn't he play in a game like that? Like I think you said he would be. No, that
Maybe
wasn't a
it's a,
conversation.
maybe it's a different person. That I don't think we've spoken about
Yeah, but
Waneri on
I
the pod.
think I think if we're looking at an opportunity for Nwaneri to start a game with all the injuries that you currently have, like Nwaneri is probably the best replacement for Saka, right? Like left-footed player comes in, like, and you could have played Sterling or whoever else on the left. Like Trossard, I think shouldn't, like you said, like maybe he should start, maybe he shouldn't, but then I don't think like playing all those defensive-minded players and then having like someone like Sterling that like pretty much, yes, Sterling is going to do something, like he might dribble the defenders, but he's not going to offer you much in the final third. Like first of all, he hasn't really been integrated into the team, and then like you're looking for him to create magic out of like nothing really. Like he doesn't have like the support of other players. Like he's not playing with the players that he's used to playing with, or like that would bring the best out of him. So I feel like that would have been a perfect game to start him. And like you're playing against Bournemouth at the end of the day. Like I know you say you've had problems with them, but like you're meant to dominate a team like that rather than come there and play a defensive lineup. So
No,
I don't know,
I'm
man. Like
still I'm not giving excuses for what he did. I'm just telling you he played what was available. And the fact that Kaidi said he played 4 CBs, we've gone through this before. They are not CBs.
but like
The people
but
keep
like
going with that narrative. They can play multiple positions, doesn't mean they are central backs. Ben
yeah.
White played right back throughout the whole of last season. No one was calling him a centre back. So why is all of a sudden now where everybody's saying he's a CB? We know he
But
has played
then
CB, but doesn't mean he's a CB. It's like
Yeah, I
calling
think
Saka
I
a left
think
back.
no,
It's
but
like
I think the
doesn't really make
emphasis
sense.
I think the emphasis on when people say CB, I think it's just more so like defensive minded. Like I think people are obviously, like, no one believes those guys are really and truly CBs, but in the context of like, oh, you're playing 4 CBs and 3 DMs, right? Is in the context of just like, okay, why is your team that defensive minded? And like I think that's one of the biggest things
It's
too.
crazy.
That's one of the biggest things people have criticized Ateta, on in the last couple months, where it's like, okay, bro, like why are you trying to make your team stronger and stronger and stronger defensively when you're also in need of attack, right? Where it's like, okay, this summer you guys should have been going all out for like a prolific 9, but instead you're buying again more defensive minded players, right? But yeah,
and
Wait. Just
also
okay.
also like you were speaking of, and I think we can just point to poor team selection. Like I don't think, apart from like we can talk about, okay, he was playing like a defensive team, all those kind of things, but I think the selection of the team itself was just poorly like chosen. Like because if you look at it, you have players like Gabriel Jesus. Like is there a problem with Gabriel Jesus that we don't know about? Like why isn't he playing more games? Like why Is
I think I
Arsenal out
spoke
of
earlier
so many? Yeah, like why is Arsenal
on
out of so
Jesus.
many
I won't lie.
players?
Even playing Havertz in midfield and starting Jesus might be better than one area, for instance. Obviously, maybe you're just going with the experience and all that. Like, don't get me, Andrew. Like, again, I know all these guys have their shortcomings. There's a reason Jesus doesn't start for Arsenal again, like all that. But it's like, would you rather, again, the lineup? Because I know Arsenal fans didn't like the lineup overall. Like, you all complained about the lineup in general. So if you guys are complaining about the lineup, knowing obviously Saka was not going to be there, Odegaard wasn't going to be there, those guys are injured. So like, what is the change you wanted to see? If it's not one every day, if it's not putting Havertz in midfield and Jesus starting, like, what would have been the ideal change then?
I mean, we played Merino. We started Merino. Like, I get what you're saying, but all I'm saying is he played what was available for him. Every manager has his squad, and when you have your squad, you have your first team. You have players that automatically replace someone if there's an injury. Like, everybody knows who I'm replacing. You have like first player, second player. You have third player. If the people on the first sheet are injured in some way, people on second sheet will come in and fill in. People on the third will be on the bench. It's just basically what's available based on the system that he has set up already. Like, I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm saying, okay, for example, our left back, we started Calafiori. Calafiori is the new left back so far throughout the season. It's not a centre back. He has played centre back, or he can play centre back, but he's not a centre back.
Yeah.
So he's playing left back for us, and he's replacing Zinchenko. We're not playing Zinchenko anymore, right? And the other guy, Tomiyasu, is injured. So that's why we're starting him. Same with Ben White. That's why we're starting him. Right back, Timber is not available. We're playing Ben White. And then the two centre backs that everybody's praising. Then we move into the DM. We play Partey and Rice, which is normal. We've been doing that every time. Like, there's nothing special. And they put Merino in front of them. So I don't really see any like crazy tactics that he did wrong. I'm just saying he just played what was available. Because that same squad, if you put Saka on the right, let's say Saka's available, you put Saka on the right and you start there maybe what's his name? Trossard on the left or Martinelli on the left. No one's going to say anything crazy. It will look better. It will look more decent. Or maybe Merino for Odegaard or something. It will look good. It's the same squad we've been playing for years. Like, really, there's no real difference. So I don't really... It's just what was available at the moment. And unfortunately for us, the game didn't go in our way. I think it's just how the sport is. We can't win every game, even if we are meant to, but we can't. So it's what it is, man.
Yeah. Before we move on from this, shout out to the last episode you were talking to us about going unbeaten. It's nice to see like it didn't take more than one episode for that talk to die. So
it is what it is.
Congrats on that.
So this game today, the one with Liverpool and Chelsea, from an Arsenal perspective, I was having a mixed feeling because I was like, okay, Chelsea's behind Arsenal with I think 3 point or 2 point or something. Would I be happy if Chelsea wins the game and closes the gap on Arsenal so that at least, because Arsenal has already lost yesterday, so that the gap between Arsenal and Liverpool doesn't go too much? I was in a bit of a compromise and I wanted a draw. So the fact that Chelsea could not get it at the end really pained me low key, but it is what it is. But from your perspective, how did you guys feel about the game?
I mean, Kaide, yeah, you can go first, honestly.
No, go. I was going to say you should go.
Again, like I said, I was very satisfied with the results. I think we could have gotten more out of that game, if I'm being honest. I think just the fact that we were at home, we played a little bit more reserved than I would like. I feel like we should have definitely started Luis Diaz. I know McAllister was sick. But generally, I think in a game like that, we want to come out and show our dominance. But I also like Ancelotti's approach. Like, he plays in a much more conservative way than, Klopp. Klopp was always all-out attack. Like, today we sat back a little bit and we're mainly attacking on the counters, right? So satisfied with the result overall. It doesn't tell me much, but it gives me enough to like actually believe in what Ancelotti is doing. So again, I'm not carried away by the results. I'm not carried away by being first, but there is a little bit of satisfaction in terms of having a style of play and then sticking with that. That's what I'm satisfied with. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think yeah, for the game in general, most people were looking forward to the game. From both sides, where I guess everyone has been like, oh, Liverpool have had a good start to the season, but they've not faced anyone in the top 10. Like, they've not faced anybody in top 10 of the current Premier League table. So I guess to some people that was meant to be some sort of test for Liverpool. And then I guess on the flip side for Chelsea too, people are saying the same thing where, okay, you guys haven't faced anyone any more credible either, except from City. We faced first game week, right? So I guess obviously from Liverpool's perspective, winning that is obviously a very good step forward. Where okay, but now we're winning a game that you guys were waiting to see us play, and then Chelsea obviously there's a bit of a negative to it where we lost the game. Obviously it's still Liverpool away, it's still Anfield. There isn't much of a knock there of like losing a game at Anfield. But I feel like Chelsea played a good game. I wasn't really disappointed. I was disappointed by the result, but I felt like they played well enough to have gotten a point, at least. And then I felt like the ref was very inconsistent. I don't really think it's a Chelsea versus Liverpool game thing. I think we complain about this all the time with Premier League referees, where just be consistent. If you want to be a bad referee, be consistent. Like, be a bad referee all through the game, or be a good referee all through the game. But the up and down, I don't love it. Obviously, and sometimes you don't really know how it affects the game until they're consistent. So I can tell you, if if there was a foul, there was even, just thinking off the top of my head, there was a foul. I think Nunes bodied one of our players.
Renato, bro, I almost lost my mind.
That was
and I'm like,
the game.
Yes, so then I'm like, how is that a foul? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's just little things like that all over the game, where he would give in that same game, he would have called that. He wouldn't. There's probably a variation of that foul he didn't call that game. Do you get what I'm saying?
Literally a few seconds after.
Do you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think in general, from a neutral standpoint, it frustrates me. And obviously, as a fan, when you're watching your own team play and then you're seeing that happen, it's even more frustrating. And then I think the last thing for me as well was the foul, like the penalty, right? I don't have a problem with that being a penalty. I feel like Kobe was a little bit clumsy there, in the sense that I think Jones already kind of lost the ball. He wasn't in control of the ball at any point, and he just kind of lunged, right? And then again, obviously, a player goes down there, they're more inclined to. If he didn't give the penalty, for instance, VAR might not come back and call that. But it's one of those things. If VAR gives that penalty, if the referee gives that penalty, VAR is not overturning that, right? And I feel with the Sancho one, for instance, I personally would not give that a penalty. But if you're giving Jones a penalty there, I feel at the very least, VAR didn't even check. They didn't even check that.
It was checked.
I don't. That is probably even worse than that. That they checked that, and because sometimes this is what confuses me. Sometimes is that he cuts back. I know he's not looking at the ball. He clips him. So if that's not a foul, then what's a foul? Because Jones, with Jones's own, for instance, again, it's just the inconsistency for me of like, okay, if that's a pen, how's that not a pen? Like what are you guys using to measure distance, right? But then again, I feel like even same thing I mentioned, how like Tosin's yellow in the first 10 minutes of the game too. If that was given a red, I might not have had a problem with it, because I was very okay. That's a really, really dicey one. Like, if you give him a red, like, I won't be happy, but like, I wouldn't really argue that, that is definitely not a red card, because depending on who's looking at it or how they're looking at it, you can argue that, okay, if he didn't foul him there, he might have been thrown on goal and all that, right? So again, I feel like eventually the game sort of balanced out. I feel like Chelsea played very well. Would have been nice to get a point at least. But yeah, I think it's a learning experience for Chelsea as well. Like facing Liverpool away. They definitely learned a couple things from that, and then obviously we still have like a tough run coming up. So I'm hoping the boys can learn from that. And shout out to Lavia, man. I love Lavia, man.
Yeah,
He's such a
yeah.
good midfielder.
I was about to say,
Caicedo too is like amazing. Like
Yeah.
I can't find, I can't think of a better player in that sort of like position that operates at the same level, game in, game out. Like every single week does the same thing. Like if you look at like the impact, like his heat map, like everything in that like aspect, I feel like he provides the same thing every single week, which is why you always expect to see him in the starting lineup. Like
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to point out is with Colwill didn't help his case because I think a minute before he just kicked Salah. And like obviously you are Anfield, like the fans are like riling you up. Like I think the fans started booing the ref as well. Like literally 2 minutes later, this guy goes and swipes at Jones, like in
Jones,
a,
yeah.
and it looks clumsy. It didn't look like, and then right after he tried to like celebrate and stuff like celebrated with like the other defender, like I think it was Tosin that was still on at that point. And then
Yeah.
like I'm watching that game thinking if we don't get that, like I'm not upset at it. But then why is he so rash? Like why is Kogu playing like I feel like he felt the pressure a lot more and he wanted to like impose himself on like the game or the defenders.
Yeah.
And even like with the ref, like honestly, I thought the ref was terrible. Like it's not even a thing of like, because like you said, if you want to be bad, just be bad throughout the game.
Yeah,
if you want to be decent, like let's at least see you try to do that. Like giving Jones a penalty, the second penalty that he called that was overturned. I'm like, in what world? Like,
bro, when you brought that penalty, guy, I was like, wait, what, bro? Even the Liverpool player, like Jones, was not even looking for a penalty. Like he stood up and it was like, oh, pen. I was like, okay, let's go. Like, was just like, bro, how do you even call a pen? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, bro,
I think that's one of those. I think that's one of the situations where like if VAR didn't overturn that call, like that's when we really need to like look into what's actually going on. Like, okay. If it's the EPL that have an agenda, because honestly, I don't want to be like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I guarantee you, and I feel like there's an aspect of refereeing and VAR that the Premier League enjoys because of the talking points that come around it.
Drama.
Like there has to be, because some calls are like extremely insane that like we're gonna keep talking about for weeks and months and like years to come. Like the Liverpool Spurs one where like, you know, they spoke about it and then for some reason they decided not to carry on the actual decision on the field. Like we're going to keep having those talking points, but I think there has to be something going on there behind the scenes that we're not aware of as fans yet. But whenever that comes out, I'll be ready.
I totally agree with that. I was about to say, just keep my mind on. I was about to say. Sorry, carry on.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, Tosin, that's one player that you mentioned, Caicedo. I love Caicedo, man. And I guess I did, like, the reason I didn't give him a shout out is the very reason you're giving him a shout out, which is he's just, bro, the consistency has been insane of recent. Like, bro, he's just giving us the same thing week in, week out. It's like he knows his job now. He knows the role. Like, he's playing
and he's assisting now.
Yeah, and bro, he's assisting now. Like I'm saying, he gets himself in certain positions. Bro, I love everything about his game right now. And this run started from the end of last season, like when Enzo got injured. Once Enzo got injured and he almost like he owned that midfield. Since then, he's been on a different level. And I think now that Enzo has been playing with him, I guess Enzo Maresca has a way that makes it work for Enzo, like Caicedo and any other midfielder he pairs him up with, which I feel like Poch struggled with. He didn't play Enzo and Caicedo well, and Caicedo was the one that suffered mostly for it. But yeah, man, like bro, he's been really, really, really good, man. And Yeah, Enzo. I honestly don't mind if Enzo is out of our squad or our starting lineup. I've not been a fan of Enzo of recent. If I'm being very honest, I feel he's not like he doesn't offer anything off the ball, and then he's just not offering enough on the ball. But he's one of those players where it's like I know how good of a midfielder Enzo is, but then again, like it's not the idea of Enzo I'm watching when I'm watching Chelsea play. Like I need to see him, you know. It's like, okay, we know how good you are, but if we're not seeing it, it doesn't matter, right? So yeah.
So I recall what I was about to say. Um, for like the past 2 seasons of this podcast and of Premier League, I've been on Kayede's neck about Chelsea and what I think he feels is Chelsea's problem, manager or players. Just to end that argument, I would like to say that I don't feel like it's the manager that's doing anything crazy right now. I feel like my argument is still valid because what I've been saying is these players need time to gel. And I feel like now we are seeing this work. We're seeing because at the end of the day, if you have different players that don't know each other, they don't have an identity with each other, it takes time for things to work, right? Some managers know how to make it work quickly. Some managers don't know how to. Sometimes it's by chance. But I've been saying that it's the players that have not been gelling, not the manager. And I feel like
So
now we are seeing that come to fruition. Today
I
they
don't
actually
agree.
played. You don't need to agree. I'm not saying it for
No,
you to agree.
no,
I'm saying it
I'm
for
about
the
to ask you.
listeners.
No, but I want to ask you a question because obviously this will easily become a different debate. But I just have a question for you. Do you think we would look as good as we are right now if Poch was still the manager?
I'm saying it doesn't matter who the manager is. Could have been
Yeah,
Poch,
but so okay,
could have been the
so
guy
you're
from
saying
Brighton.
so you're saying we would look as good as we look right now if Poch was the manager. That means that's your answer.
Yeah, could be anybody.
Okay.
I've been saying it's not about the manager. It's about the players. If you bring in a new owner that shifts out all the old players immediately and brings in random new players, you can't just put a man. Okay, what I'm saying in essence is if Maresca was the first coach, immediately you guys got Todd Bowley, you would have sacked him and be looking for another manager. Because I'm saying
I
it's about the
respectfully
players.
disagree.
That's I'm not saying it for you to agree or disagree. I'm
I
just
know.
saying,
So
yeah,
I'm
I'm
just
just
making it
letting you
clear
know
for the
that
listeners too
now,
that I
okay, fine,
disagree.
that
Yeah.
now we're going to be enjoying, these players and their unison. We're going to be seeing good things happen. Because I saw the players fighting to the end of the game, to the last second
Oh,
of the game.
so
I
sorry.
saw
I have
that
another
happen.
question for you. You think last season when it didn't look like there was as much unity, you don't think the culture the coach is implementing or whatever on the team, you don't think that matters? You don't think Maresca has a part to play in the
Bro, I'm not
Chelsea
saying he
players
doesn't
all
have
of a
a part to
sudden
play.
gelling?
He
So
has a job.
I don't know what I don't know what you're explaining here.
He has a job. He has a job as a manager. His job
the
as a
team
manager
looks
is to
so.
motivate the players, right?
But my
To make
point is,
sure
the
that they
team
do the
looks
job.
so together right now. The team looks so together right now. Is a testament to what the manager is trying to do. Pochettino had a whole year to do that last season, and at some point this year, Noni was still fighting for penalties with Jackson on the pitch. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that's not for lack of they've not been together long enough for that not to happen. But yeah, again, I don't want us to get into a whole separate
But yeah,
argument
that's
about
just what
that.
I'm about to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like things will get better now from Chelsea's side. My prediction for Chelsea is still to be top 4, and most likely it's going to happen. Also, last 2 weeks I said, because you were asking about how we feel about Chelsea's performance this season so far. And I remember saying like I didn't feel like they've had a test. I felt like today was a good test. They didn't win, but they played good football. Like it didn't feel like Chelsea lost the game. I felt like I enjoyed what I watched. Right, it didn't feel like anyone would have won or drawn, and it would have been a good game. It didn't feel like Liverpool came and they dominated. In fact, Chelsea had more possession, more attempts, all those things. So, you know, yeah, I feel like
I
they've
think
done
the
a good test.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I feel like the worst part about football is it's like the 3 points is really what matters. Like,
Yeah, obviously.
like I think for a long time we're seeing Arsenal and other teams play very well, but then you get to that point and it's like, oh wow, you played so well, such a good game, But then the 3 points, like Chelsea fans can be like, okay, yeah, we enjoyed that game. We've seen our performances. Like if
No,
as a
coming
Liverpool
from where they
fan,
are coming from now,
Yeah,
it's
very
it's a
good.
absolutely,
good thing.
absolutely, yeah. No, I agree with you. But it's just the Premier League. You want to come out with a way. Like for example, like Wolves today when I was watching them against Man City, amazing game from Wolves, right? But in the last minute, you concede a corner. Like I'm not even like a fan, or I don't care what's happening with Man City at this point in because we know they're going to be in a title challenge. But just losing a game like that, it's like you look back at it and you're like, oh wow, we played so well, this and that, but then you concede, and that's what changes the game. Like you don't have 3 points anymore, right? So it's no longer a thing of oh you played well. Like I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to results, and that's just the unfortunate nature of football. Kaide, you brought up two things, so I wanted to just touch on like two players, for Liverpool, and just like kind of like close it off there. If you guys want to touch on that as well, that would be great. But Curtis Jones and Salah today were insanely good. Like I don't know what it is, but Curtis Jones today completely surprised me. Like I had to like look into him a little bit more to see like why did he perform so well in this game? But it just seems like he's had something for Chelsea. Like I think this is like the second or third time he scored against Chelsea. But like he's just like he's has something in those moments where it's like I don't know what to expect from Curtis Jones, but in games like this, like he just finds a way to stand out, and like I was extremely happy with his performance today, and yeah, I think well deserved. I think he needs to bend Supersly a bit more, just so like Supersly can kind of feel a little bit more pressure on that position because he's just starting every week, right? And then Salah today was just again a goal and an assist. So what else can you expect from the king? But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, Salah, I like when I see Salah's passing side. Like Salah can be good when it comes to opening up defenses in with passing because he draws so much attention to himself or to his wing. So those times he's able to like look up
where he's unselfish.
Yeah, when he's unselfish, and he makes the right pass, like you always find that whoever he's playing on always has so much space. And we saw like 2-3 passes today that opened up mad space. Obviously one leading to a goal, which was Curtis Jones.
No, Salah was
like
the one that played that
like
pass.
2 other times.
That's Tosin fouled that guy. It was a Salah pass.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was a Salah pass from
like
corner
like
kick.
at the beginning, right? Which one?
Yeah, it's the one at the beginning. The yellow card, Tosin's yellow card.
Yeah, so it's just like like when Salah is doing that, obviously it makes Liverpool much more dangerous because you're like, okay, Salah is Salah is ready to pass today, so that's a problem, right? But yeah, and Curtis Jones definitely put on a it was really good today. If Curtis Jones was regular Curtis Jones, we probably don't lose that game. So that shows how and he was in the middle of all the major action today. From the penalties, so obviously
did he win man of the match?
I think so. I would like to think so. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
I remember the commentator saying like he deserved it. I don't know if he won it.
Yeah, he played really well. But yeah, that was a good watch. Obviously Liverpool, Arsenal coming up, so I know we would have that to speak about next episode. No Saliba, so.
For sure, no Saliba, no Odegaard, no
Odegaard might be back.
Saka
They might be back. Both of them might be back. Might.
But it's just Saliba.
Maybe like bench.
Just Saliba that is gone.
Yeah. But Saliba is
but I'm definitely looking forward to that game. I'm actually most likely going to watch it at an Arsenal bar. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Who's City playing?
Next week?
Next week, yeah.
I'm not sure.
They'll be the ones that will be the winners of that game, whoever wins or loses.
Yeah, I'm not sure who is playing, sir. But yeah, I think that's a good place to round it up. Good game from Liverpool, Chelsea. If there's one thing I think I learned in that game is, both teams obviously they both have been rightfully really good this season. It's not just wash, obviously, despite Liverpool taking the 3 points. I think Chelsea still showed, quality, on a different day they could have also won that game. So yeah, anything else from you guys before we close it off?
No, I think that's it. Again,
Yep.
super excited with the results, and yeah, looking forward to the game next week.
Yeah, thanks for watching,
Nothing
guys.
from me.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and all that stuff like Andrew said.
Drop your opinions in the comments.
All right, guys. Peace.
All right, peace, guys.